How optimistic are you that the COVID-19 crisis has changed the way we'll address the issue for the better?
Good morning, and thanks for the invitation. I mean, basically, all the issues are relating to climate change, and especially its impact on issues as important as the water cycle, as fighting against pollutions, was there before COVID-19 and will be there after. And what we see is that it shows that those issues have to be addressed as a key priority in the future investment that all the countries are going to put to revive the economy. And I mean, having exchanges with both the EU Commissioner, various European governments, we have a very, very good reception around redirecting investment to tackle those issues that once again were there before and will still be there after COVID.
Right. And Bertrand, you've mentioned the possibility previously about tracing the coronavirus in waste waters. Is any government planning to give you a key role in this sort of surveillance of the pandemic?
This is the result of research we have been carrying out in the past months. First of all, I want to make clear that there is absolutely no issue for drinking water, and the treatment processes all over Europe and all over the world are able to kill the virus. So there is absolutely no risk around drinking water. But we find traces of the virus in wastewater, where wastewater treatments are not up to the latest standards or sophisticated enough to eliminate the virus. So we are able to correlate the presence of DNA and the surge of the epidemic, and we are putting in place in France and several countries watch network to be able to anticipate what we call the famous second wave in a couple of European countries. This is the case in France, this will be the case in Spain, and we know that our Dutch colleagues are doing the same.
Talk to me about your business as well, Bertrand, in the wake of the COVID-19 crisis. How long will it take for Suez to recover the volumes of water and waste treatments that's been lost by the crisis?
So we made an update to the market 2 days ago to give the latest information we had. So it's pretty basic. All in all, we expect a loss of revenue, which is directly correlated to a loss of volume of around 6%. Of course, the situation is very different from one continent to another. Asia has stabilized since April. It is the case in Europe since mid-June, and now the hotspots are more in the US and Latin America. So we see a very important rebound as soon as economy are starting again to operate, but there are still sectors that are not up to speed. Air transportation, car manufacturing, and also tourism. And I'm afraid that this will take some time to get back to historical levels, as there are still a lot of restriction in terms of travel from one country and one continent to the other. So we are still we are more in a situation where we think that volumes should get back to historical levels more in the second half of 2021.
Okay, second half of 2021. What does that mean for asset disposals? Because last year you announced a plan to sell as much as 4 billion euros of assets by 2023. When will we actually see the first disposals, or has that plan changed because of the crisis? Are you actually planning to hold on to these assets now?
A couple of comments. We don't like very much to comment on the asset rotation plan, but what we have seen with the crisis that it fully validates the strategy of repositioning we had decided last year. Our processes, disposal processes for what we call wave one is definitely progressing well. I mean, we are selling asset of quality. We have buyers, so we have been a little bit slowed down for material issues like carrying out a due diligence at the time of COVID, but we are adapting ourselves. So announcement will be made in the second part of the year. The only thing I would like to precise, because there is a lot of rumors around our Spanish asset, our subsidiary in Spain, and I would like to clarify that this is not part of our plans.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Let's go back to the environmental transition, and particularly in France, Bertrand, because Macron has pledged that the government would invest an extra 15 billion euros over the next 2 years to facilitate that environmental transition. Of course, we've learned this morning that the Prime Minister, Edouard Philippe, has resigned. This new path that Emmanuel Macron is talking about for the government, is that needed for France and particularly for the environmental transition?
I will not comment our president, but what we see is definitely a policy of investing in industries of the future to really accelerate the necessary transformation and environmental protection, adaptation to climate change is clearly one of the areas that has been identified. And if we speak also with the EU, we need to invest in green, digital, and resilient Europe. And definitely our businesses, our services, essential services around water management, around waste management are part of those essential needs. And therefore, yes, there is a willingness to invest into that. And whatever is the decision of the president in terms of composition of the government, I am certain that those necessary investments will be taken into account, and we will get funding for that.